Welcome to the How to Load a Grease Gun video in the series of how to run basic shop operations. The things that we'll need for today's operation are, we will need one screwdriver of at least moderate length, one can of grease or equivalent can of grease. This is my stand-in for a true park shop grease can. 2 shop towels or something similar. If you use shop towels, you get better results. And of course, a grease gun that needs grease and a nitrile glove. I prefer nitrile gloves because they last a little better than latex, but it's a personal opinion. These are not afforded to you by Sport Chalet. It would be up to you to buy them. If you do not use these gloves, you'll wind up having to use a good amount of dish detergent to clean the grease out of your skin when you're done. So, one thing to remember, this won't hurt a bit. Well, maybe not too much. This is a very basic thing. When you are working with your grease guns in your shop, if you would like to see how much grease may still be present in this grease gun, keep an eye on that hole down below, slide the screwdriver in, and you can see exactly how full this grease gun remains with grease. This one is pretty empty. So what I'll need to do will be to open the can that'll be full of grease. At the bottom, we can see that there is true park grease in there, and I need to push the slider down inside the can. So, by using the screwdriver, I'll push this slider all the way down to the bottom. Be careful that you don't get this grease on yourself. That's what the lid is for. Next step, there is no good way to get the grease from the can into this can other than using your fingers. So, you'll just need to scoop some up and pack it in. There's really no neat way around this. So, in order to get the grease to settle down inside here, you'll have to persuade it. You persuade it by tapping the air out of the can. This is the part that takes the most work. The grease that I'm using today is a substitute grease that's easily found at major retailers like Walmart and other stores like that. It is basic wheel bearing grease used for trailers. Most of the time that grease will be relatively waterproof. Won't be too sticky. You want to avoid the real high temperature stuff, as it'll be so thick it'll slow down whatever bearing assembly you put it into. So I'll need to keep putting grease in and tapping the bottom of this can until there's no more gaps at the top. This is almost completely full. This was not an empty grease gun. If you have a brand new grease gun, this process goes the exact same way. Except you start from the bottom. So I am almost there. By using my fingers as a spatula, you can see when I'm almost all the way full. From your viewing angle, I think you can just about see that. I want to put just a touch more grease on here. If it's mounded just a little bit, that will normally fill the air pocket that's usually in the top of the vacuum pump that lives at the top of the grease gun. This one is full. So, I just want to get this grease level to the top, wiped off back inside the can. We want to save as much grease as we can and not waste it on our towels. So, if you've been through any of my classes, you know that I'm a person that's a little bit focused on running a clean operation where my tools are planned out, everything's ready to go. one step at a time, so that way I can get the repair done. So, that's also present here today. Hopefully you run your shop the same way. Since the can is now full, old grease, new grease, I can screw this back together. And because there's grease on the outside of this grease gun right now, where it's not needed, just wipe that off pretty quick here. So that way people who aren't wearing Nito Space Age Nitrile shop gloves don't wind up getting a load of grease in their hands when they don't expect it. Just try and run a polite shop as well as a clean and efficient shop. Lots of standards that we have there. So, I'm now ready to bleed the air out of this gun. If you were right now to just squeeze this thumb trigger, grease will come out. So, let me make that easier for you to see, give a little bit of a background. I am getting green grease squirting out of here at the moment, which it works okay right now, but because there is still an air pocket inside here, I need to press that air pocket out. What I'm going to do is put this screwdriver back in the bottom of the gun and apply a little bit of pressure as I squeeze the thumb trigger. So, there's really no problem if I mix greases in this can like so. So we can see the amount of the color of grease that's coming out of this gun is now red. I'm at the part where I'm at an air pocket. So, this grease gun is now filled, ready to go, and pretty much all that I have left is the cleanup operation. So, I'm a Butterfingers in person as well as on video. I shot all the grease back in the can for the most part, so I don't have any cleanup necessary on that. When it comes to cleaning up my hands, all I need to do is whip these gloves off, and I'm set to go. The only other issues that you may be experiencing with this grease gun are nozzle clogs. If you have a clogged nozzle, you've done this air bleed procedure, no grease comes out, this may have been dropped and something may have been jammed up inside of here. Take a wrench, remove this tip here, and use a small piece of wire to scrape that clean on the inside of this nozzle. If you've dropped the grease gun, well, and put it back on, get it reasonably tight, a touch beyond finger tight. If you've dropped your grease gun and knocked the thumb bell off, there's an easy way to fix this. Here's the way to fix it. Go to Home Depot, get an axle cap. This axle cap, honestly, I've forgotten the size. It's about this size right here. You'll need to hold the plunger shaft in place with a set of needle nose pliers, wind the spring down on the needle nose pliers, and then press the cap on with a little bit more than finger pressure. It's not that difficult to do, and it saves us and you from having to get another grease gun brought into your shop. In case you do have to get another one of these, the wholesale price on these is about $7. 7, not 100, not 1,000. They're very easy to get. So, to review what we've done today, what we've done is we've reloaded this grease gun, which can be done from a fully empty state or a partway full state. So, we've covered how to replace the thumb bell, we've discussed that at least, how to get rid of clogs, and also to keep your shop area clean. If this towel is exceptionally greasy when I'm done with it, throw it away. Don't wash it at home, throw it away, get rid of it. When your grease guns are more than halfway empty, in other words, feeling from the bottom with that screwdriver, if it's more than halfway empty, it's a great time to get these refilled. Final element on running your shops efficiently, if this is your last can of grease, when you open this can of grease, order another one. Here's an even better way to do it. Before you open your last can of grease, make sure there's another one on the way. This makes sure you'll never be completely out of grease, which is a bad thing. So, as usual, my name is Rick Stryker. I'm Sport Chalet's bike training coordinator. If you have any questions, I can be contacted through comments on this site, as well as through Sport Chalet's email contacts through the manager's computer. Hope you've had fun watching, and I'll see you next time.